Welcome everyone to my channel, which I have decided to open and hopefully run, encouraged by my family. As the name of the channel may suggest, the videos published here are going to be dedicated to the phenomena widely known as and understood as UFO and related topics, aiming at disclosing as much as is known about them to the public. Where does the idea behind the channel come from? You could say that the interest in the UFOs runs in the family. My second cousin, once removed, was one of the pioneers of ufology in Poland, even as long as for over 40 years ago. He was one of the team members who studied the so-called Emilcin event in Poland back in 1978, one fairly well known back home but relatively obscure in the West, as it took place well before the Iron Curtain fell, and the flow of information was free and unhindered. Unfortunately, my distant cousin passed away just over 20 years ago, long before I became even remotely interested in the UFO-related topics myself, and thus I was never able to talk with him, ask any questions, and debate. My direct interest in the UFOs, UAPs began only last year. While I was browsing various topics on the internet, I stumbled upon a certain article published in the Debrief magazine by Leslie Kean and Ralph Blumenthal. And not a moment too soon, I also discovered the now famous interview with Major David Grush by Russ Coulthard. This interview took place just the days before the public hearing in the US Congress, really, involving the same self, Major Grush, Lieutenant Ryan Graves, and Commander David Fravor, distinguished military servicemen, the latter being two pilots and of the USA Air Force, and direct witnesses of an unidentified aerial phenomena, as the term used alternatively to and with unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP, is the current trend and name used and observed in English sources. Back then in July 2023, I have experienced my personal ontological shock. The testimonies of said witnesses, and also because of their credibility, gave me a whole lot of stuff to process. The implications were colossal and earth-shattering, to say the least, assuming the testimonies were rooted in reality. If down-to-earth people with excellent service record decide to put forth such bold claims, perhaps we should at the very least open our minds to the possibility that we are, after all, not alone, not only in the universe as a whole, but much, much closer to home. The following months were a proverbial chase down the rabbit hole. I discovered the cases of famous UFO sightings, claimed abductions, and close encounters with extraterrestrial beings. I have read and watched materials presented by people with vastly superior and extensive knowledge than I could claim about the topic, many of whom are experiencers themselves or have worked for many years on UFO-related topics. Thus, this year the idea for a YouTube channel was born. Firstly, I would like to present the aforementioned groundbreaking in terms of ufology events which took place in the American Congress and those related to them. I would also like to present at least some of the more and less known cases of observations of anomalous phenomena and objects, vehicles if you will, alleged abductions and topics which are related to them, but perhaps comprising an integral part of the greater phenomenon, at the core of which may be a non-human intelligence. Some of those topics brush against the realm of the paranormal, but after a closer look they often look much less crazy and much more probable than that one could think at the first glance. I hope that this channel will eventually provide something both for believers and the skeptics, those who believe in unidentified flying objects and extraterrestrial beings, as well as those who take a wide berth and are more eager to look for natural explanations to the observations. My task here is just to propagate the knowledge, perhaps to offer a critical material for personal analysis and a prompt to ask yourself a few questions for which we can often so hardly find the time in the rush of modern life. And here a few words about the channel name itself, beyond disclosure. Many of the people interested in these topics want disclosure of truth. There are objects in our airspace and in the oceans which defy our understanding and the ability to identify and explain them. Many of us, including myself, want the truth. What are we really facing? Is it extraterrestrial, interdimensional, or otherwise exotic in origin? Or is it all man-made and terrestrial? This channel is one of the hopes to prepare us for a world after and beyond such a disclosure. At this very point in time, I cannot promise yet that the videos will be published regularly and according to any particular schedule. The channel is just a hobby and a personal project, and it is juggled on top of a full-time job and other offline commitments, especially that the idea behind it is to operate bilingually in my native language and in English. I can, however, promise 100% of involvement in everything I do, and that I will put in all my modest skills and capacity, including learning how to edit video and sound on the go. So, today I would like to thank you for your attention and time thus far, and I would be extremely honored if you decide to watch out for new videos, to subscribe, like, comment, and so on. Until the next time, and see you in the world of UFOs.